The idea had seemed innocent enough at the time, a joke, just a light-hearted way to kill the boredom on a routine mission. Corporal Milo Henders was fiddling with the plasma wrench when the thought crossed his mind. He glanced over at his buddy, Sergeant Arlo Wexler, who was elbow-deep in the ship's inner circuits. "Hey, Wex," Milo called out, his lips twitching with mischief. "You know the Rygari delegation we're meeting tomorrow? What if we give them a little surprise?" Wexler pulled his head out of the maintenance panel, his eyes narrowing suspiciously. "Surprise? Milo, if this is about the fake vent fire again." Nah, Milo waved it off. "Nothing like that. Just something harmless, you know? I was thinking of rigging the doors to play Earth's national anthem when they come on board. Earth doesn't have a national anthem. We've got like 200 countries. Exactly. That's why I picked Yankee Doodle. It's catchy. Plus the Rygari love music, right? Cultural exchange and all that." Wexler sighed but couldn't help the smile forming. "All right, Milo. But if this backfires, you're explaining it to Captain Thrace. I'm not taking the heat for your shenanigans." And so, the prank was set. The next day, the Rygari delegation arrived. A procession of tall, willowy aliens with pale lavender skin, their heads adorned with bioluminescent fronds. They glided onto the human ship, their movements graceful, their expressions calm. As they stepped through the airlock, the familiar tune of Yankee Doodle blared from the speakers. The Rygari paused, their fronds twitching in a rhythmic pulse, which, to human eyes, looked like they were bopping to the beat. The humans stifled their laughter, watching the dignified Rygari sway awkwardly until the music ended. After a brief silence, the Rygari ambassador, a tall figure named Lithis, turned to the humans and tilted his head. "Fascinating," he said, his voice echoing with a melodic quality. "This sound is a traditional human greeting." Milo nodded, trying to keep a straight face. "It's an old Earth custom, Ambassador. We call it making an entrance." Lithis blinked slowly. "How delightful." The meeting went on without further incident, but when the Rygari left the ship, Milo caught the ambassador, giving him a long, inscrutable look. "You think they liked it?" Wexler asked, nudging Milo as the delegation shuttle departed. Milo shrugged. "Who knows? I mean, they're called alien for a reason. Hard to tell what they think about anything." 3 days later, a package arrived at the Terran Orbital Diplomatic Station. It was addressed specifically to Milo Henders, and was marked with the official seal of the Rygari Empire. Milo tore into the package, curiosity getting the better of him. Inside he found a peculiar-looking helmet, covered in glistening blue crystals and dotted with alien script. A note accompanied it. "To Corporal Milo Henders," Milo read aloud, "we wish to reciprocate your delightful cultural exchange. Please wear this during your next official duty shift. Regards, Ambassador Lithis." Milo glanced at Wexler, who raised an eyebrow. "Are you seriously going to put that on?" Milo grinned, sliding the helmet over his head. What's the worst that could happen? The moment the helmet clicked into place, it started humming, and a projection flickered in front of Milo's eyes. It was a video feed of Milo himself, but dressed as a traditional Rygari elder. In the hologram, Milo wore flowing purple robes, bioluminescent fronds sprouting from his head, and, most notably, he was attempting to perform an alien dance. Wexler doubled over with laughter as Milo's holographic doppelganger stumbled through the intricate steps. "Oh man, they got you good," Wexler wheezed, tears streaming down his face. Milo yanked the helmet off, his face flushed. Okay. Fair play, Ambassador, but this means war." Milo and Wexler brainstormed for hours that evening. If the Rygari wanted to play, they were going to learn just how far human creativity could go when it came to harmless mischief. "What if we do something with their food?" Wexler suggested, tapping his fingers against the console. "You know, replace their staple grain with popcorn kernels. They'd never expect that." Popcorn's good, Milo said thoughtfully, but we'd need something bigger. Something that'll make them question if they even understand humans at all. An idea struck Milo like a lightning bolt. He leaned in closer, lowering his voice conspiratorially. We rig one of our drones to deliver a fake message from Earth, something like an invitation to join the Intergalactic Clown Federation. Wexler's eyes widened, and we do it all official-like, include all the right seals and diplomatic nonsense, make it look real. They set to work immediately, recruiting a couple of the tech-savvier crewmates to design the letter and program the drone. The message was full of over-the-top rhetoric about the honorable tradition of clownery and the ancient and noble practice of joy, all culminating in an invitation for the Rygari to join an intergalactic organization that didn't actually exist. 2 days later, the drone arrived at the Rygari capital ship. Lithis the ambassador received it personally. His expression remained neutral as he read through the human message, but the fronds on his head quivered in confusion. After a long pause, he finally spoke. "Prepare a response," he said to his assistant. "It appears we have underestimated the depth of human culture." The Rygari were not a species accustomed to losing, and to Lithis, this prank war had suddenly become a test of superiority. They had mastered faster-than-light travel, harnessed energy from neutron stars, and charted the vast cosmic web. Surely they could best a species as primitive as humanity in a contest of harmless mischief. Lithis convened a council of his finest minds. "We must retaliate in a way that baffles their senses," he said. "A display of creativity they cannot hope to match." The Rygari deployed an array of holographic projectors around the Terran orbital diplomatic station, creating an illusion that the station was being surrounded by thousands of miniature Rygari ships. The projection flickered to life just as Milo and Wexler were making their rounds. "Holy crap," Wexler breathed, staring at the viewport. "Are we being invaded?" Milo squinted at the tiny ships, then noticed the holographic shimmer. He groaned. "It's a prank. Look, they're not casting shadows." Wexler laughed, shaking his head. "All right. They've got some tricks, but we're not done yet." By now the entire station was in on it. Humans from every division were offering suggestions for the next prank. The engineers had their own idea, a harmless but utterly bewildering modification to the Rygari's water supply, adding a harmless agent that turned the liquid into a gelatinous, jiggling substance resembling Earth's jello. The result was spectacular. The Rygari, accustomed to their usual nutrient-rich hydration routines, were perplexed when their drinking water suddenly wobbled and bounced in their cups. Lithis took a tentative sip and was rewarded with a mouthful of lime-flavored goo. "This is most peculiar," he muttered, his fronds sagging in bewilderment. The humans received a holographic message shortly after, featuring Lithis attempting to comprehend the new state of their water. But the humans weren't done. They decided to take a page from Earth's history, a classic dag, and delivered dozens of crates to the Rygari's flagship, all marked with "handle with extreme care." When Lithis and his crew cautiously opened them, they found each crate filled to the brim with rubber chickens. One by one, the chickens fell out, squeaking loudly as they bounced across the Rygari command deck. The crew stared, utterly baffled. Lithis picked one up, squeezed it, and watched as it emitted a high-pitched squeal. He turned to his assistant. "The humans are unpredictable." Days turned into weeks, and the prank war continued to escalate. The Rygari had created a series of holographic gardens aboard the human station, complete with alien wildlife that occasionally startled the crew by darting out from behind a bush. The humans responded by developing an entire series of fake emergency broadcasts, all in good humor, each more absurd than the last, including one involving an invasion of sentient potatoes. Despite their advanced technology, the Rygari struggled to keep up with the sheer absurdity of human creativity. For every elaborate, carefully planned holographic prank they devised, the humans responded with something that seemed to defy logic: rubber chickens, silly string, whoopee cushions, and even an entire flash mob dance routine that interrupted a diplomatic meeting. Lithis found himself both frustrated and amused. The humans had a kind of chaotic ingenuity that the Rygari simply could not replicate. Every time the Rygari thought they had outdone their rivals, the humans responded with something so ludicrous that it was impossible not to laugh, even for an alien species that prided itself on decorum. One evening, as Lithis reviewed the latest official human communication, an invitation to join a fictitious galactic swimming team, he couldn't help but let out a chuckle. His assistant looked at him in surprise. "Ambassador, you amused?" Lithis nodded slowly, a smile spreading across his face. "Yes, I believe I am. The human's creativity is remarkable. It is a form of intelligence we had not accounted for." Eventually, the prank war reached a point where neither side could escalate any further without crossing into potentially dangerous territory. Both sides had pushed the boundaries of mischief, and there was an unspoken understanding that the time had come to call a truce. Lithis requested a meeting with Milo, Wexler, and Captain Thrace. The four gathered in the diplomatic chamber, the air thick with anticipation. Lithis stood, his bioluminescent fronds glowing softly. "It appears we have reached the pinnacle of our cultural exchange," he said, a hint of amusement in his melodic voice. "The Rygari Empire acknowledges the ingenuity of the Terran people. We concede that your creativity is beyond our capacity to match." Milo grinned, giving a playful salute. "Just a little human spirit, Ambassador. We like to keep things interesting." Captain Thrace cleared his throat, his expression a mix of exasperation and pride. "Perhaps it's best if we declare this prank war a draw. After all, we wouldn't want to accidentally start an interstellar incident over a whoopee cushion." Lithis nodded, extending his slender hand. "Agreed. Let us return to more conventional diplomatic relations." Milo shook Lithis' hand, unable to suppress a smile. "Until next time, Ambassador, and hey, if you ever need more pointers on making an entrance, you know where to find us." Lithis' fawns shimmered in response. "I shall keep that in mind, Corporal Henders. Perhaps there is more we can learn from your people than we first imagined." As the Rygari delegation departed, Milo and Wexler watched from the observation deck. The stars stretched out before them, the vastness of space filled with endless possibilities. "You think we'll ever see them again?" Wexler asked. Milo shrugged, a smile playing at his lips. "Oh, I'm sure we will. And next time we'll be ready. You know what they say, once a prankster, always a prankster." Wexler laughed, clapping Milo on the shoulder. "Here's to keeping the galaxy on its toes." And with that, the two men turned away from the viewport, already brainstorming their next grand idea. Because if there was one thing humanity excelled at, it was making the universe just a little more fun.